Hello and welcome. This is Cosmic Greninja, and I'm bringing you another sneak peek of a zoo I am working on in Planet Zoo. This is going to be expansion part 2 of our zoo that I'm calling Safari Life Zoo. Um, so here's the second expansion to it. We've already seen Glacial Wonders, which dealt with a lot of the wintry animals, and the grand entrance area. So the next part is going to be the Aqua Oasis Pavilion. Basically, this is going to be animals mostly dealing with water. So this is the main pavilion to get into that part of the park. I kind of went with kind of a Greek theme when going into this one, or classical, as you can tell. Um, Stone columns, a little bit of wood mixed in to kind of tie to the rest of the park, but mostly a lot of stone. Um, then, of course, is the skylights up in this one. This one was a kind of a lot of fun to build. It took the longest to get the columns just right. I was constantly deleting and re-adding and deleting, re-adding and deleting, re-adding, and then got those. And then a friend of mine pointed out putting these little lights on here to kind of give them a nighttime feel. As you can tell, it gets brighter. It doesn't get super bright in this room, but gets bright in the right places. Kind of giving it that, classic outdoor pavilion thing without being outdoors. Um, and then, of course, as you can tell, as we go out here, there's more lights. It leads to a grand pavilion in the very end. Um, so, but we're going to leave this in daylight mode for right now. Once you enter the actual Aqua Oasis, you'll come to this giant closed off part. I originally wanted this to be a walkthrough, but then I had a lot of dead space on both sides because I had the animals so far back. So I ended up putting this pavilion in here versus what I originally had designed on the sides. Then on the sides, there's just kind of like a sitting area. Eventually, we'll have trees or water here, kind of just giving it a relaxing setting, um, kind of tying into these trees. Anywhere there's not animals and trying to hide walls, I have trees. So, keeping with the theme, um, everything is stone habitats all the way down. I got columns, I've got light fixtures, kind of going for the neoclassical look, Greekish almost. Um, I still gotta put the animals' names on some of them, but some of them already have them. So as you can tell, we'll look over here at the Nile monitor. Everything is lit up. Um, it lights up actually quite well. As you can tell, it takes a moment to get there, but it does light up quite well. Um, the tourists can see the animals. There's tons of viewing. None of them in the Aqua Oasis is walk through. It's walk up off the pathways into little corridors for them. All the habitats technically are attached, but they're divided by the walls and invisible barriers. and then in the back there's you know employee spaces and stuff. And then back on here is what's called the central artery. It takes you down past all these. We have the platypus on the left. We have saltwater crocodiles. Um, they have two. There's technically four entrances, but they basically a walkout. Um, because I wanted to keep it symmetrical, I guess, symmetry. Then we have the beavers and the raccoons. We'll grab a glimpse of these real quick. On the way out, I'm gonna grab the other side. I know I skipped the platypus, but sometimes I don't know if the platypus are in there because they're hard to see. Um, yes, I know I have the chain sticking out of the wall. Um, there was a problem with it sitting in the wall, unlike the glass. But as you can tell, there's the raccoon, there's the beaver. They're all playing back here. So, and I have educational TVs on both ends. Um, the raccoon beaver is not the most popular compared to some of the others. Um, well, obviously, I need to fix the glass in this one too. But here's the platypus. Um, this one's actually doing really good. It's I've built a platypus habitat before in that one save game we had where it had the two-story Aqua building, and the platypus seemed to always die. So I've taken more time and put more water and less depth and less viewing. Like I said, I'm gonna come back to the other side. Um, yes, I know it says only 3,000 people in the park right now. I've actually closed the park and just recently re-entered it. Um, due to major slowdown. There was almost 10,000 people in this park. Actually, it was over 10,000 people. This one is the hippos. This one is one of those I don't know if I want to leave in this spot because it's such a weird layout. Because I wanted to catch them swimming, but the water is so murky. Um, and then of course you can't see them. So I gotta figure something else out. They're not as popular as I thought, but they have two sides. Um, so and then when you come out, unlike the others, their name is right here on the corner, hippopotamus, because of the fact that it's the corner location. And then of course we enter. We have a little fountain here. Straight ahead, we will come to is the California sea lions. Um, and then there's another little pavilion to kind of help draw people inward. I've named it the Sea Lion Pavilion. It, it's almost there, and then over here is um, the small otter, Asian small otters, which means over here is probably going to be the giant otters. Um, we're going to go left at the hippos, and then around here at the far end is the American alligators. Getting the letters to stand on top like that and lined up perfectly took, oh my gosh, so long. Oh my gosh, it's hours doing that. Deleting wall pieces, putting wall pieces. Oh, painful. But it was so much fun and so happy, so gratifying once done. I liked them. The only problem is I didn't want the letters white. I wanted them black, but I am not deleting them and put them there. Um, the American alligator was actually down there by the saltwater crocodile against that one spot that didn't have a name. It's now the coral. And I moved the American alligator down here to this end. It was pretty popular where it was. I wanted it to have a little bit more space to spread out, which has proved to be very good because they're not as feisty now, and I can put more of these little all the plants they needed in here. And then, of course, have tons of viewing windows, and the windows are actually in the wall, like I like. Um, you come out, you'll notice there's this pathway that goes back behind the building up against this brick wall. This brick wall is literally on the edge of the buildable area. Beyond here, as you can tell, it goes all the way down. There's the entrance. This is the buildable area. So, um, but I kept with the columns and stuff down here. I still got trees and lighting and seating to put down one side. The decor's really the last thing on my mind mostly. But over here is the giant otters. Um, this building and the building that looks like on the farther end of this road um, was the last minute change to the theme I have been doing. I wanted to kind of give some glass in here. Like renovations were going on, they were bringing the build this area up to more of a modern stance. So hence the big glass and all that, and the higher walls, um, and different lighting, kind of tie in with the lighting we have out there. But this is the giant otter habitat. Um, I think they're doing pretty good. You can't see them swimming, but you can see them on land. Um, I haven't really figured out a way to do the underwater parts without messing up the aesthetic of the above ground part yet. Um, that is something I will work on. And then over here is the small otters. Um, it's renovated to look like the pavilion, the sea lion pavilion across from it. So it doesn't match anything but that. Um, and it's more of a marble because this phase was built in two different phases. Um, so the columns and stuff actually tie in more with these than they do this stone over here. But I was going for more of an open plaza with these, like once you hit the corner of Main and Park or something, in a park area. And one's food, and this one was going to be like a giant open park for sitting and stuff. And I was like, no, I still have too many water animals, so here they are. So they got a corner location with the same lighting as the other otter habitat. Um, and then, of course, you can see into it, and there's less arches here, but they're over here now, so you can see out. It gives more light. Um, than smaller columns and stuff. I did a little bit more to these. All right, when you come back out, we're back on this main road. Now, at one point, it was a connecting, and then tore out and put that fountain, which fountain's going to probably change to something else. But for now, it's a fountain. And then it leads to the California sea lion habitat. Um, this was a lot of fun. It's a two-story habitat, as you can tell when we get in there. These are from a mod I downloaded. I don't use all of them. I just use some of them because I like some of them. So, as you can tell, I still need to edit some parts of them. But I do like the overall aesthetics of it. So that's why I'm using it. But this is not my design, this little thing right here. This belongs to somebody else. Um, I try not to use very many other people's mods when I'm doing recordings, but I really disliked them so much for this open area of my little plaza, and I was like, I've got to use it. I'll explain it. But when you come in, you can walk up under here and see into the water. Um, you can see them swimming. They're not diving, so it's a little harder. Um, or you can go up to the second floor and see more of them. I don't know where this pillar is touching. It's not touching nothing, so I need to get rid of it. As you can tell, you can walk out. There's a lot of dirt and random things sticking out because of the landscaping needed inside. So um, I had planned to come back through and fully wall this off completely so no one could see it, but I haven't done that yet. Um, but this was kind of, I wanted to give this like a palace feel, and I need to come back and get rid of all the grass. This took so long, and then of course you have the upper level. The only way up is on the sides, um, and then I put one up here too. But up here you can see all of the sea lions. So, and they're really cool. I spent about an hour watching these guys play and run around. It started off with four. Every habitat starts with four, and then they just go from there. Um, However they so choose, and then we go from there. And then, but that is the California sea lion habitat. It's the biggest building on the entire Aqua Oasis layout. Um, and then over here is a little seating area for relaxation stuff for the guests. Like I said, decor is still in progress. Um, so, and then as you come back out, like I said, there's the Sea Lion Pavilion, which we need to look at here. This was going to be a habitat, and I was like, I need somewhere for people to come get food. All the food is at the entrance, and then they have nothing. When you get far enough back, there's literally nothing. There wasn't restrooms, there wasn't food, there wasn't water, and they were complaining. So I ended up taking the habitat that I had put here, which was one of the it was the beavers because they were separate, and I moved them over to the raccoons. No, it wasn't the beavers. I forgot who was right here. I think the small otters were on this side at one point, and I moved them over to the other side. Either way, this is the alcove. It's an open space, open air, kind of giving off that marketplace look. Trees everywhere. I still need to align the trees more prominent to the walls, and then put the tables in here and some cameras. But that is the pavilion. All right. So when you take a left instead of going right at that, you come down to the other big building. It has nothing in it. It is still a work in progress for the upcoming animal. I think I was going to put the pygmy hippo in it. Um, that's that's where it's going to go. So over here is the African penguin, and it was supposed to be my tie-in into the African jungle or savanna. That's the last phase of the entire park. Um, Desert savanna animals. It is proven to be not very popular. Now, granted, the guests haven't fully come back yet. It's only up to almost 3,000, so but they are cool to watch, and frankly, I think they're kind of cute. Look at that! Look at that! That is adorable, and it's happy, and it's almost 10 years old. So I think it's kind of cool. Oop, we're not ready to see the employee space yet, but that is the African um, penguin. Over here next to it is the flamingo. It has the same layout as the hippopotamus does. Um, I really want to change these fences to something else, but I don't know if the birds will perspective. But here's the flamingos. Um, they're not as abundant as the swans up front, but they're getting there. I mean, I started with four, so can't be that picky. They are popular, just like I said, the park's just reopened. And here it is. Now I haven't got the latest expansion. Um, I'm getting that spoon soon. So the pygmy hippo might not go in here. It might be the American flamingo, just because to tie this park to a new DLC. Over here is the speckled caiman. Everything down the left side of this road is the alligator crocodile family. I moved it to make room for the Garl because I wanted the Garl in that spot. So the other one got kicked. But they are in here and they are popular to watch. And there are many. Every one of these are lit. Um, and some of the habitats I actually have lights in them so we can see them. I don't have them in all of them yet, but they are getting there. So next to them is the saltwater crocodile. Another one that is there. You can see a few of them. Um, you can see them better now in daylight. There's some right there, but they're getting there. There's, I think, uh, 13. That's not bad for starting with four, especially when this one was a problem child. So, what is my 21 problems? Oh, this thing. I It changed all the food quality. That has literally stopped a lot of the problems with food. Um, I am not going to go into the details of that, but anyways, next to them is the Carvar's Dwarf Cabin. This one I like watching. This is kind of cool. But it requires so much water. But here they are. This is one I wanted to actually build a walkway over, but the way I laid this out, it just wasn't plausible. I had a, I would literally had to been a walkway over every habitat with a wall that went under, and then we're back at the entrance um, of the Aqua Oasis. Now, as you can tell, there are some gray sidewalks for the employees only that do lead off the main paths and behind everything. And that is the next spot we're going to go to is behind. Now, between the tropics and this is a small little sidewalk that takes us down to um, an empty water basin, apparently. That had water in it. I don't know what the water went. But this is the Aqua building. It's the administration building for the left side of the park. Yeah, there's something going on there. I did that weird thing right here for a reason, because no matter where I put the door, it was just like that wouldn't exist. So I pulled the doorway out here and made it kind of like an open drop off, and they have to walk into it. So I'll figure out something to hide that later. But this is the left side administration building, and it has everything in it for the employees. So um, on the right side, on the opposite side where all the crocodiles and stuff are, um, is the Oasis building, and I haven't named it yet. But here's all the. Oh yeah, I have. It's right here. Um, Here's its building. It kind of went with a different theme. I was testing something out how I wanted, do this. Um, so, and then there's one other administration building in this park, and it's only attached to one habitat. It handles just that one habitat. It is the sea lion or sea building. Um, it's on the backside of the California Sea Lions, and it literally is called the sea building. But it connects to this, and it's made of the same material, and it's just for that habitat. Because I needed a way to anchor that with all that flatness back there, and then of course all of this is going to be trees. Every bit of this is going to be trees behind here to hide and cover all this up. So there'll be nothing but trees. But this is so far the Aqua Oasis layout. Um, as you can tell, it's come a long way, especially from the little small glimpse some of y'all may have gotten when we were doing the tropics. Um, but this is it. This is the Oasis, and I hope everyone likes it when we do the full um, flyover episode, which is basically going to be touching base in each one. Um, and then I'm doing it. So, okay, folks, I just want to say I hope you enjoyed this episode, and my first peek at the last expansion of this park. It's going to be named the African Land. No, that Safari Lands. I named it Safari Lands. So, and it basically is going to deal with all of those animals. There might be some more animals that aren't in the Aqua Oasis. Like I said, there are some things that carry from each one, though, hinting at others. So, with that being said, folks, it was a pleasure talking to y'all, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, later.